welcome back to the Kentucky Kernel News Podcast. I'm your host, Nate Lucas, joined by my co-host, Giana Gallo. Would you like to say hi?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
So today we're going to be talking to two members of the Kernel about their favorite movies and music from 2023. Disclaimer, the opinions expressed in this podcast are the speaker's own and do not reflect the opinions of the Kentucky Kernel. All right, let's go. All right, so first off, a big thank you to our two guests for coming in today. We have two staff members from the Kentucky Kernel, so can you all introduce yourselves very quickly?
I'm Gracie Moore. I'm the digital editor.
I am Greenwell. I am copy and features editor.
And so what we're going to talk about a little bit today is some of their favorite media from 2023. So Gracie's going to kind of specialize in her favorite movies, and Gray is going to go over some of his favorite music. So I think we should just start with everybody, I guess. What was your favorite piece of media from 2023?
I gotta say it, Barbie movie.
Yeah,
that
you
one
liked the Barbie movie?
I feel like was most hyped. The trailer kind of left me hanging because I was like, what is this movie really going to be about? I grew up watching Princess and the Pauper, all of those Barbie DVDs, and I was pleasantly surprised and happy with it. And of course, Ryan Gosling, like, come on. Right. So.
Yeah. For me, I think it was a little bit of a blast from the past. Although it was the 25-year anniversary of this TV show, I watched The Sopranos over the summer, and I think that's what media I enjoyed most. Because now I get all the references that are like on my social media that I didn't get before. But how about y'all?
I gotta go with the Barbenheimer, so a little bit of Barbie there. But I think that it was just really interesting to see people from such different, genres of media kind of, because there was never really a conflict. There wasn't a competition. Well, I mean, some people made it a competition, but, overall it was just these really great movies are coming out, and it's just super cool. Go get a double feature and, get back into the cinema. But I agree with you with Barbie. I think that just, it just stole the show for the year. The cast, Greta Gerwig and her take on it, and the nostalgia of it all. So.
I did not see a lot of movies this year, but I did see the Barbie movie. I took myself alone to see the Barbie movie, and I thought it was great. I had a lot of fun watching it. In terms of music, I definitely won't get into everything right now, but I would say my favorite album of the year, or just like piece of media in general, which I'll touch on more later, is Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard by Lana Del Rey. I'm a fan of hers, so obviously I love the album, but even if you weren't a fan, it's truly like the most captivating listen that you could have had in 2023. Yeah, definitely. But I did love the Barbie movie, so.
Yeah. So let's kind of get into how the media landscape maybe changed in 2023. So Gray, how did the music landscape, change with new releases this year?
I would say that 2023 felt like the first year that we were coming out, like fully out of the pandemic.
Okay.
So 2020, you saw a few albums come out, like notable, but a lot of artists held back because pandemic. They didn't know how to promote music. They didn't know how to tour music. And it just wasn't feasible or sustainable to put out an album during a global pandemic. 2021, you saw a lot of people come back. You had a huge album like Sour by Olivia Rodrigo, like huge in 2021. But in terms of other releases, I would say 2021 still felt like that post-pandemic year, like the main post-pandemic year. 2022, a little bit of the same, but, albums started to filter in and out. Like you had even bigger releases than 2021, like Midnights by Taylor Swift, which is huge, probably a lock for a Grammy. This year really felt like we had completely brushed the pandemic off, which was great to me. Touring is fully back in swing now. Album releases and album campaigns are back in swing now. So, it truly felt like everything was just back. And so you saw a lot of releases, pop, rock, any genre, people were just putting out content, which I thought was great. So.
And Gracie, was that the same way for movies?
Definitely. This year I think last year was the biggest year for movies since the pandemic, for sure. You had insane franchise releases like The Hunger Games, the revival there. You've got the Barbenheimer that entire thing. But you also had some really great standalone movies like, Bottoms was one that I think got looked over a lot, but it had a great cast, a lot of newcomers, and you just had the Super Mario Brothers movie. I mean, there were so many big franchises, big companies, but yeah, it was just a huge year for movies, and lots of award-winning films came out of last year.
I feel like also going, from the pandemic where streaming really hit the ground running, a lot of people just preferred watching the movie at home versus going to the movie theater. And I was definitely one of them. I was like, I'm never going to movie theater again if I can just hit click on my couch and go in my pajamas, and I would be completely content with this life. But I know especially when Barbenheimer was a thing, and I was like actually excited to go back to the movie theaters and sitting in the seats and watching it on the big screen, spilling more popcorn on the floor than, going in my mouth. And I feel like, I don't know if it's just the Hollywood industry or the effects of the pandemic, but I feel like a lot of more people were excited to actually go to the theaters because they didn't have that during the pandemic. And going off of you, Gray, like 2023, I agree. I feel like it has finally, the pandemic has kind of gone to the past, and we are moving ahead where it's not, oh, well, COVID, it's over. Yeah, for now.
So great. You kind of gave us your top one album for 2023, but can you give us the other two?
I could give you dozens. I would say that my top three, or maybe like top 3 or 4, obviously Lana Del Rey, that record I mentioned. I don't know if you guys have heard of Caroline Polachek, but she's slowly been, she's been in music for over a decade, but she's slowly been making a bigger name for herself in the indie music scene. She put out an album in February 2023, Desire, I Want to Turn Into You. Incredible. Like, it's totally a lock for sound engineering at the Grammys. Like, her voice, she really, like, talk about an artist who knows how to use her voice as an instrument. Like, not only that though, but the production work and the engineering, like I said, on that album by her and Danielle Harle, masterful. Like, it sounds nothing like you've ever heard before. There's no artist making music like Caroline Polachek does. I also loved the Boy Genius album. I'm sure a lot of people know about that by now. They blew up totally. The Record is what it's called, which aptly named, but that was such a sweet album. Like, such a sweet album about love and friendship and the boys, as they name themselves, Phoebe Bridgers, Julian Baker, Lucy Dacus. They're so good. I mean, they all have prolific solo careers at this point, but like that record, that first record, their EP that they put out in 2018 was amazing, but that first record that they put out back in March was phenomenal. It's like the perfect amalgamation of all of their solo careers thus far. And just like really emotional music, but just like it warms your heart a little bit. I don't know. What else did I love? Sufjan Stevens put out a great record. Obviously, in terms of pop, I loved Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Anybody at the Kernel knows. I wrote a review about it. It is so good. I mean, if you're a fan of Veruca Salt, Black Nail Polish, like good coming of age story, that record is phenomenal. Say what you will about pop music, say what you will about pop rock music, but I mean, it is back-to-back bangers. I love it. So,
Yes.
And then I was going to ask you about an emerging artist, but it sounds like Caroline is kind of that for you.
I mean, yeah, Caroline is definitely making a name for herself once again. She's been in music. Chairlift was a band that she was in way, way back. But she's worked with Beyonce before for Beyonce self-titled. No Angel is what she worked with, if y'all know that song. But yeah, her solo career is just blowing up more and more and more because people are tuning in. It's like she has something to say, and like her voice is incredible. And the music that she's producing is so otherworldly, like it's insane. So if you sit down and you listen to that record, you're gonna be transported to a totally different place. In terms of another emerging artist, though, I have a list here. Kara Jackson put out this album called "Why Does the Earth Give Us People to Love?" And if you don't know who that is, she's an Oak Park native, singer-songwriter, and the 3rd U.S. National Youth Poet Laureate.
Wow.
And she put out this brilliant record, like just chamber folk, kind of sounds like a record that your mom like still has on vinyl and like wore out in the 70s. It's as much Joni Mitchell as it is SZA, I think. It's funny, but it's like also really sad. And I mean, she's talking about like so many like unique topics. Like there's a song on here, the title track, "Why Does the Earth Give Us People to Love?" It sounds like it'd be a breakup song. It's not. It's like this 7-minute song about like her losing her best friend. And it's like, it's so emotional. And it sounds like, yes, it was written by a poet. Like, she's poet laureate. So, like, of course it's incredible. But, like, the sound is so, like I said, chamber folk, singer-songwriter, Joni Mitchell. Like, it's incredible. I think that she is definitely one to watch for this year and next year. Like, I think we will be seeing a lot of her in the future.
Mm-hmm. And then Gracie, how about you for your top 3 movies of this year?
Oh my gosh. Bottoms with Io. Oh my gosh, I cannot pronounce her last name. Edibiri, maybe. But her and Rachel Sennott, and then it was directed by Emma Seligman. Sorry, I'm butchering these names.
Yeah, okay.
But Bottoms came out in August, and I think that it was just one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It was absolutely absurd. The writing was so witty. It was just outstanding. The acting performances by Io and Rachel were out of this world. And I think that it kind of got overlooked a lot because it came out after the whole Barbenheimer thing. And so people were kind of focused on that. And then right after that was Hunger Games. So lots of really big pop culture moments happening there. But that has to be my top movie of the year. It was just so absurdly hilarious. Barbie also was an amazing movie just all around, you know, a pop culture moment, but it had great writing, great directing. Margot Robbie just was outstanding. She just portrayed all of the emotion so well. And then America Ferrera, her speech, her monologue, and that, you know, has really changed people and kind of changed the view of, you know, women and feminism in a way, I guess. So that one is huge. And my third, that one's difficult because there's a lot of good movies this year. I would probably say maybe Saltburn. It was weird. It's really weird. And I don't know if I would watch it again, honestly. But the cinematography in it, the acting, performances, the directing, it was just all so well done. And visually, it was really appealing, which is something that I find very important when I'm watching a movie, is I really want to be, like, drawn into, like, their world and kind of the world that they're showing us. So, you know, when the colors are very bright, or if they have a really great color palette and aesthetically it's really pleasing and visually kind of wacky a little bit, that really draws me in. Plus, the soundtrack was amazing, had some really great names. But yeah, all around, that was a really good film. But that's probably tied with Oppenheimer for the same reasons.
I have to ask a question. I have not watched the new Hunger Games movie, but I have heard mixed reviews on this. Some people are like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then other people are like, this is terrible. This is a terrible addition to the Hunger Games name. Have any of you seen it, and what are your thoughts?
All right, so we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we ended on Giana asking about Hunger Games.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts. I was very in the middle of kind of, you know, I really thought, or between the good and the bad. I thought that some standout performances obviously is, oh my gosh, what's her name? Rachel Ziegler. She's amazing. She came from Broadway, and she is getting her flowers that she finally deserves. And her singing was amazing, and that a lot of it, I think, was live, which is just insane. And the plot was really, really great. Obviously comes from a book. Haven't read the book before. Not a big reader, unfortunately. But I did think that it kind of went on a little bit long in some moments, and it was a little bit, like, by the time that I got kind of to the second act of the film, I thought I was watching, like, an entire different movie. And I really thought that it could have been really, really well done if it was in 2 parts. But just because of how the story kind of went, it just felt like very different movies by the time that I ended it. And it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth there. But I, you know, can't deny the performance. You know, Rachel's performance was just outstanding. The other performances were great. It had Viola Davis in it, who was amazing, and Jason Schwartzman. But yeah, I did find it a little bit lengthy and not amazing at points.
It's funny because, like, Oppenheimer, I remember watching that movie and I was like, okay, this is getting a little long.
Yeah.
But
I fell asleep.
Yeah. It was just way too long.
Where I love her. Florence Pugh is a great actress. In my opinion, was she necessary in this film? No. I don't feel like she really was like, oh my gosh, wow. Her plot point was just so, you needed this in the film. Not saying, I mean, her scenes weren't that long, but I feel like if it wasn't there, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's surprising that you said that The Hunger Games was a long movie compared to this 3-hour and like 30-minute movie made.
And I felt the same with Oppenheimer in the sense that like there were just moments where it was just drawn on for so long, and it was kind of The Hunger Games was a bit of a different kind of like long in a sense, because it was just there were certain scenes that could have just been condensed. It wasn't that I was sitting in the theater for so long and falling asleep, but it was just that I wish that they had chosen to kind of focus on different parts of the movie and not had some plot points be so drawn out. But I feel the same way about Oppenheimer in the sense that it was so long.
Yeah. What about the Super Mario Bros. Movie? I kind of have to be a little kid-like because I actually really enjoyed it.
I liked it. It was really, really good,
Yeah.
well done, and it was very nostalgic too. I really enjoyed it. It was a great time.
Did you see it, Gray?
I did not see the Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm so sorry. I'm sure it is a fun watch. And I was a video game kid growing up, so like I guess it's a little nostalgic. I'll get to it at some point. If I have to hear that Peaches song one more time,
Oh, that's the worst thing
my
ever.
brain is gonna like gush out and like matter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sue me. I just can't do it.
Is that why you did not click on it to watch?
I honestly don't think I pay for the streaming service that it's on, so that's probably why I didn't watch it. And I wasn't gonna pay for it in the theater. Sorry.
That's fair.
Like I said, I'll get to it at some point. Seems like a fun watch, especially if you like were babysitting kids or, you know, had little brothers or sisters. But it's just not. I did see, in terms of animation, the Spider-Verse movie that came out this year was great.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Great.
I
I did go
completely
see
forgot.
that because I love the first one.
Yes, those are
Um,
amazing visually.
But I did not see the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I don't like Peaches. So
What do you?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
My question is, what do you think about Peaches like being up for like awards and also I'm Just Ken winning best original
Yes.
song?
I'm so glad someone asked this question.
Oh boy, here we go.
Neither.
I knew you'd have
Neither.
opinions.
Like I said, I don't like Peaches. I think it's a terrible song. How I feel about I'm Just Ken. Great moment in the movie. Really, really charismatic performance. I enjoy it. Is it best original song material? No, it's not.
That was my favorite part in the
Yep.
movie, but not the best song.
No.
Yes.
I just don't feel very passionately about it. I don't hate it. It's not my favorite thing I've ever heard. It's not my least favorite thing I've ever heard. Peaches, maybe the least favorite thing I've ever heard. But it's a good moment in the movie. I just don't think it's worthy of best original song. I haven't seen a lot of best original song nominees this
That's
year.
fair.
In terms of original music from this year, I guess the Olivia Rodrigo Hunger Games track that she put out was pretty
Yeah.
great. I really
Yeah.
liked that. Obviously, the original music from that movie by Rachel Zegler is also excellent. So yeah, but in terms of I'm Just Ken and Peaches, they fall a little flat for me.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to segue to music now. I feel like this is could be controversial question. I'm asking a lot of controversial questions, but I want both of your opinions and Nate's, of course, on Taylor Swift in general. Obviously, she's becoming more of a football star than a pop star, I feel like, at this point in time. What do we think about her music, her new movie that came out about her tour, all of that? I feel like she's kind of hitting every kind of point in media where you can as a pop star.
How much time do you have, Giana?
All right, I'll give you a minute. Say what you
Let
want.
me
about
get on
Taylor.
my soapbox. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. This is the best year of my life. It's probably the best year of Taylor Swift's life too, but it's the best year of my life. I went to the Eras tour. I was there. Wind in my hair. I was there. To quote, I went to the show that she announced Speak Now, Taylor's version at. One of my favorite albums from her. It's a little groundbreaking to me. Then of course, she starts blowing up even more than she's already been. She's the biggest star on the planet, but now she's the biggest star in the universe, the known universe. And so it's great for me. I love it. And I'm a little pilled when I watch a Kansas City Chiefs football game and she's there and she's dating Travis Kelce. I'm sorry. They just don't make celebrity couples like this anymore. And you know, I have to tune in. I did see the Eras Tour film, so I've seen the Eras Tour twice. Thank you. Once live, once in cinema. Great. One of the best concert movies I've ever seen. I'm tuned in. Obviously, I'm listening to the music. I think it's great. Argue with the wall. I don't care. So that's what I have to say. That's my soapbox.
All right.
Best
that
year
was
of my life.
recommended exactly. That was
That
really
Best year of my
good.
life.
Okay. Gracie, what do you think?
I mean, ditto. I agree. I think that she is just breaking so many stereotypes and, you know, or initial ideas and thoughts about, you know, what you can be and what you can do. And I just think that it's amazing. You know, yes, I don't think anybody is perfect, and I find fault with some of the things that, you know, anybody does, says, but I think that she uses generally her platform for good. She urges people to go vote a lot. She's been, you know, she's been outspoken about things before, which is great. But more importantly, I mean, she's just created a space for, not more importantly, but she has created a space for so many girls and so many people, and just to be able to go and just like be with other people that you can relate to and feel comfortable around. Yeah, I think it's great. I remember being like in elementary school, and it was always so like stupid to listen to Taylor Swift for some reason, at least at my school. And it's just really nice to like be able to, most of the time, say like, you know, oh, I liked listening to Taylor Swift, and you're not, well, more so you're getting more and more ridiculed for it. But, you know, you're kind of at a point where she's just normal to listen to, and it's just nice.
Yeah.
to
Nate,
enjoy.
are you a Swiftie?
I do like Taylor Swift. I actually go to the gym and listen to Taylor Swift. Yeah.
What's your
That's
go-to
amazing.
Taylor
Okay.
Swift gym playlist?
So I really like Bad Blood.
Nice.
Good choice.
Um,
With Kendrick Lamar.
Without Kendrick Lamar.
Nice.
Ooh, okay.
That's,
Yeah.
That's
And I really like
Controversial.
Blank
Yeah.
Space. I really like Blank
Yes.
Space a lot in the gym.
That's a very
That
common.
is so surprising. Like, I would love to see a TikTok of like, what are these people listening to at the gym? I would not
And
pick
then
Taylor
it's-
Swift.
I liked
Nate Lincoln.
I liked Karma when I listened to it. I listen to like Clara when I get to the gym sometimes, and like Faye Webster. Like
Great
I'm really
choices.
weird.
Favorite
Like
star.
just to like relax me and like so I can focus in.
That's fair.
Lock in.
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
kind of my secret.
I love
But like as Taylor Swift as a person, like I love her. I probably watch the most football out of anybody that I know, like specifically NFL, and I feel like I'm not annoyed by it, and I feel like it's become a really good litmus test if you're like annoyed at her popping up on the screen, that you're
Mhm.
just
I
like
agree.
you're just like not you're like a crappy person. Like you just kind of hate having fun and stuff like that. So whenever somebody says it, I'm like, yeah, but like, why would you be mad about that when you just literally, you don't have to be? Like,
Right.
what else are you going to be seeing in the broadcast? Like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Why are you mad when you could be glad?
Yeah, exactly. It's silly.
Per
lyric.
Taylor
Um,
Swift.
And why I don't like the Chiefs either, but I'm still not annoyed by it. Like,
Yeah.
I would rather hate the Chiefs than hate Taylor Swift. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's my opinion.
I think it was really clever of her to make the movie because, again,
Mhm.
with all of the Ticketmaster,
She's the
scandal-
ultimate bag getter.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like that was like a very good equivalent, as equal as it could be, to
Mhm.
giving more people an experience with Taylor Swift. I mean, even I saw on TikTok, like people were legit going to the movie theaters all dressed up, like in the Taylor Swift gear with the, not the glitter, but like the streamers,
Mhm.
and it was like a for real concert, but watching it on screen. And I know then Beyonce came out with the TV concert,
Mhm.
and I feel like this is the new normal now for pop stars, where they create musicians, that they create a filmed concert.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I think it's a clever idea if you can't get the tickets.
I agree. It's better for accessibility because, you know,
Mhm.
sometimes you can't get a ticket. Some people have, you know, chronic illnesses or,
Yep.
you know, illnesses or disabilities where they can't go. You know, some people just aren't in a position financially. So many people aren't in a position financially to afford the insane ticket prices anymore. And
Yes.
so it's very nice to see that, you know, these pop stars and their teams don't take advantage of that, but
Mhm.
they're giving a more affordable way, an accessible way for people to see them, because there are people fans of Taylor Swift and Beyonce who are such die-hard fans that would kill for a chance to see them, you know, but they just can't, you know, they can't go. So I think it's really great.
Well, I think that's all of the questions that we have for y'all, unless y'all want to talk about anything else.
I know Greg could probably keep going about Taylor Swift.
I could go on.
I could go on about
and
whatever.
on.
Yeah. But okay, I think that's a good spot. We can cut it off. We're at 25 minutes, so.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you all for coming on today.
Thanks
for having
having
us.
Yeah. All right, welcome back to Scoops Out of the Litter, where we tell you what you need to know in the news as a college student on the local, state, and national level. So what do you want to talk about first today?
I feel like the most important, well, there's these three are quite important headlines, but something that is affecting UK students right now is the bitter, bitter cold. This week's forecast looks pretty rough, and I know UK just released a statement today, Tuesday, that we have a 2-hour delay, operation delay, and they sent that at like 8, so any class before 10 a.m. was canceled today. Everybody else kind of had to bear through the cold. Do you feel like it's cold outside?
Yeah, it's very, very cold.
I know a lot of kids are taking this opportunity because there's two, I think it's EKU and WKU who canceled school completely.
Oh, okay.
Like there was no class.
I bet NKU did too.
Oh, yeah. A lot of Kentucky schools and public schools, elementary schools, high schools, especially in the Fayette County district, closed school for today and tomorrow. Governor Bashir a couple days ago released, a state of emergency. I know myself, I drove from London, Kentucky to Lexington. And it was snowing pretty bad. There was no plows, no salt trucks. I'm from Chicago. That's my normal, where like it snows and immediately trucks are on the roads trying to plow. I feel like UK did a pretty good job plowing the streets and the sidewalks. But do you feel like they're going to cancel school tomorrow, Wednesday?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather in a little bit. I think they're doing a good job too.
Yeah.
I was just on the sidewalk today, not even really close to campus. So it might have just been the city of Lexington, but they were clearing out a sidewalk that I wouldn't really expect would have gotten any attention. So that was good to see.
Yeah. Did you see the stuff happening at Willie T's Bowl?
Yes, I did.
So for those who don't know, campus Willie T is obviously the library, and there's a big hill called the Bowl right in front of Willie T, and when it snows, it becomes like a huge sledding fest almost. And kids at midnight, I feel, really late at night, take shopping carts, cardboard, one of the robots on campus that deliver food, and sled down this hill. Would you want to participate in this event?
No, I wouldn't want to get hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, I see a bunch on like the UK Snap story of people falling out of these carts, and I feel like that would hurt a lot.
Yeah, it hurts me just watching it. I don't want to do that anytime soon.
But kind of ending this headline, Nate, what do you feel like are safe driving tips for commuting in this snowy, cold weather?
Well, something that I did when I was heading back from a friend's the other night was I just kept a sizable distance between me and the car in front of me. My brakes weren't working super well. I have an older car. So, it's just keeping that distance between you and another car so that you don't slide and rear end them on accident.
Yep. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And putting your windshield wipers up. This is something I don't see a lot in Kentucky, which surprises me because that'll help you when your car windshield is frozen and your windshield wipers are stuck to your glass, because that could actually break your windshield. So put your windshield wipers up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so for our second story, I guess we'll touch on UK's loss. And bowl season. Yeah, if you want to learn more about the bowl game or just listen to it more, you're a big sports fan, we also have the Kentucky Kernel Sports Podcast, which they'll have covered the bowl game over there. But, I mean, We're just talking about it because that was a good game.
That was a good game. I actually really enjoyed watching it too. I'm not much of a football fanatic, but I was really into watching the bowl game. I thought UK put up a good fight. I don't feel like I don't really know the sports lingo and talk, but I thought they played a really good game. So I wish, of course, would have loved a UK win, but I think there was still effort put in the game.
As a football watcher, I'll tell you that
Yes.
the reason that they lost on the last drive, and I hated this because then after the game, the coach was like, man, this quarterback is special. Like, you guys should have seen him. Like Clemson's quarterback. He's not all that. It was just we're playing them. So, I mean, obviously you got to pass to win the game. You don't have a lot of time left. And we're playing like 10 yards off these guys. Like, we're not going on the line and like pressing them because we're so scared of them scoring in one play. But, you know, when you press 10 yards off, or when you're 10 yards off, you know, you get however many 5-yard completions, and then there you go.
Right.
They get a touchdown, and that's basically what happened. We just couldn't react quickly enough to what they were running. So it just stinks that that's what happened at the very end of the game, that we wanted to play like that. But, you know, it was a good game.
It was.
Overall, so.
It was. And it was a
I
Gator
had fun
Bowl.
watching it.
I kind of like that we were in the Gator Bowl. I would have liked if I feel like I'm more into what kind of bowls there are. I would have really liked if UK was in the Pop-Tart Bowl itself.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was really
that was
fun
really
to
cool.
watch.
I always like the Mayo Bowl.
The Mayo Bowl's good too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That one's really good.
So for our final, is this our final story? Yeah, our final story, we're going to talk a little bit about the Iowa caucus. So Trump wins the Iowa State caucus, and Ron DeSantis does really bad. And a lot of candidates have also dropped out. Vivek Ramaswamy, I believe that's how you say his name, and Chris Christie dropped out earlier, probably a week ago.
I was just telling Nate before, well, you, not, and all of our audience, but yeah, I was just talking to you before we started Scoops Out of the Litter that I feel like so many Republican candidates have dropped. I mean, Mike Pence was one. There was like a ton that just dropped, and same now in Iowa. It's just insane to me how many candidates have just dropped out of.
I mean, this is usually the spot if you learn if you have some juice or not. Nikki Haley is the biggest winner of the Iowa caucus. She finished behind Trump, and I believe 11 points above Ron.
Wow.
I'm not sure, but don't cite me on that. But Haley had, you know, this is a good win for her because if Donald Trump gets barred from being in the election, then she's the obvious runner-up.
Right.
And it also gives her more consideration for VP if she chooses, which I don't think she'll be VP because Trump and her don't really like each other.
Oh.
But she's also a woman and a minority as well, so that could win Trump some votes. And I feel like Republicans are the type to not really care about bad talking each other.
Yes.
I feel like they're the most likely to be like, hey, we said some things.
Right.
We know that's just to get votes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, let's partner up and do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Scoops of the Litter. Scoops out of the litter. 2023, eventful year.
It was a good year. I feel like, again, I know on this podcast we kind of shortly highlighted on getting out of the pandemic, but I feel like 2023 really was the emerge out of pandemic life, mask life, and, you know, starting 2024 off with, you know, kind of going back to normal, but still having those safety protocols and health.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have to take a Zoom call this year.
Oh, I'm hoping not. Unless it's for snow days. Then I will gladly take a Zoom call.
Yeah, I wish I took one today for that. Never mind. But yeah, thank you all for listening so much.
It's always a pleasure.
Yep. And outro song.